Okay.
I'm clicking now.
And here we go. Here we go. As soon as I see Mike TV go away, I will say the words.
He seems like such a nice guy.
Recording. Sorry, Mike TV. Mike TV only has one shirt, though. I've noticed that.
Only one
buying a shirt.
That's his.
He seems to always be wearing.
That's a busking shirt.
Maybe he has a lot of the same.
Maybe he has like 15 versions. Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day,
Internet. Oh,
Jinx. Good day, Internet.
And that's the show. Thank you for joining us.
We really hope you have a good day. We meant it.
No, we mean it. And no matter what time zone it is where you are, we like to feel like we're your afternoon drive mood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's sort of like winding up the day, putting things in perspective, bringing
that could be our
home.
new tagline. DTNS, ease a mood.
Yeah.
Ease a mood.
You know what it is? I'm like the car that is in front of Roger. No, I tried to cut Roger off, just like real drive time traffic, afternoon traffic.
Why would you?
Yeah, no matter what time of day it is, we're bringing you home.
Yeah.
I had to be in traffic this morning because I had an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
First appointment of the day at the doctor's office. So I'm usually like, this is great because no one will,
Right.
they won't be late yet. I was late.
That's always the way it goes.
Right. First appointment of the day, because I'm like, I got a full day ahead of me. Yes,
Right.
I want the 8 a.m. I wasn't terribly late, but late enough where I'm like, I called the office from the car and was like, well, I didn't do it with my hand like this. I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm like a solid 10 minutes late.
Were they cool with it?
Totally cool. Yeah. It's, I think they
know.
They know that all day things are, where the doctor's going to be late or whatever. But yeah, it was traffic. It was like 30 minutes from door to door. And, as I creep along, Waze is like 31.
Oh, guess what?
Then it's 35.
Those estimates are always based on the exact condition at that moment. But if you're heading into the rush hour, it's gonna keep getting
worse,
longer.
Right? Because it was sort of between 7:30 and 8, where I should have known it was being optimistic.
You think the algorithm would project that somehow and say like, okay, by the time she gets here, the traffic is usually worse.
Yeah, give me worst case scenario ways, and then I'll be pleasantly surprised.
This is what our Your Private Driver column has argued before. Is that Google Maps has a better actual estimate of your drive time, whereas Waze is always too optimistic.
Well, you know what Waze also did to me? And I wish there was, and somebody correct me if I'm just missing something obvious, because I'm using it in CarPlay, which is great, But Waze, contrary to Google Maps, which almost never does this, Waze will take me on side streets where I'm like, okay, I might be like shaving off 45 seconds here and there, but it'll have me cross or turn left on like a 4-lane road.
There's a setting. Do you know about the setting?
No.
There is a setting in Waze that they introduced like a year and a half ago.
Well, it should be on by default, but okay.
That reduces those situations.
Because that happened a few times where I was already kind of running late, where I'm like, why would you have me turn left on Beverly? It's just
turn left on these 6 lanes of Olympic Boulevard. Like
and it takes forever and it's kind of scary.
I'll be honest, I've found myself able to do things I previously thought were impossible because of Waze, but it's not pleasant.
No.
So if you go into settings, trying to find it.
I don't have my
settings
phone in front of me right now, but
Tom's always been
go into settings, navigation, and turn on avoid difficult intersections.
Oh.
Again, seems like it would be on by default.
Wait, so difficult intersections, is that just one that's like trafficked up?
I prefer them.
This is like, don't route me to turning left on a 6-lane road without a stoplight.
Got it.
Yeah.
Even though it's technically an intersection. So I mean, they didn't turn it on by default because it was a new setting. They didn't want suddenly people going, well, wait, what happened? They wanted to give people the chance to opt in to it, which is I respect that.
I suppose. Although when I finally got to the doctor's office, I'm kind of running up breathless, like, I'm here, I'm so sorry. And she goes, were you using Waze? And I'm like, yeah, how'd you know? And she was like, it always redirects me into all the worst way to go. And I'm like, really? I mean, that's not my complaint. It seems actually like the best way to go, just sometimes at the wrong times of day, left turns I don't want to make.
Yeah, Waze will I feel like Waze will 99% of the time get you there faster,
Yeah.
but it won't be relaxing. It won't necessarily be a pleasant ride.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, by the way, BioCow, good old BioCow, good day, BioCow.
Good day.
Subscribed at tier 1, 4-month streak.
What?
4-month streak.
Wow, you're a
streak.
first tier bio cow.
He's awesome. We love that guy.
I could almost turn it into a happy birthday song.
I think we can sing that now. I don't.
Yes,
I,
they
that-
lost
that-
the case.
Proper now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
We're
good.
safe. We don't have to avoid that anymore.
I didn't. I knew technically it was like you can't, but
Mhm.
I didn't know anybody who really avoided singing.
Well, the
Well,
corporate
restaurants,
restaurants
right?
avoided it
Yeah.
like the plague.
That's where it was mostly.
Is that why they have their weird
Yeah.
version?
Yes.
I always thought it was just like, I don't know, restaurant customization. of fun.
No, it was they would have to pay a royalty if they performed Happy Birthday.
Which is why
Wow.
all the songs they came up with had a very similar tune, like
Ooh,
Happy
Thrumwald
Anniversary.
subscribed at tier 1, 2 months straight. Thank you, Thrumwald.
Thanks,
Also.
Thrumwald. I did not know this.
Olive
I
Garden
just
used
thought
to-
it was obnoxious restaurant stuff.
Well, it is.
Where it's like,
But also-
my-
Okay, and now you know. Now you can tell whether it's obnoxious restaurant or stuff or not, because some restaurants have switched to Happy Birthday. Like, oh, we can do it now. The ones who haven't, obnoxious restaurant stuff.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Mhm.
We used
And
to
they
have a
still,
songbook at the Olive Garden when you started. You were given a songbook,
Happy birthday, happy birthday,
Yeah.
birthday.
and then you had to mix it. We also had a Hospitaliano song
Oh,
and a
geez.
Happy Anniversary and Happy Graduation.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Do you have a
Skills Cat subscribed with Twitch Prime for 3 months.
Well, great. I mean, my heart is full. Could
Yeah,
it get
man.
any fuller? Good.
Y'all are the best.
Good. Your heart runneth over.
My
It
heart is
does.
enlarged.
In fact, it's running away. Come back.
If you have an enlarged heart, that might be a medical condition, and you should probably see a doctor.
My dog has an enlarged heart, actually.
Right. You're so full of love, you die.
Yes.
That's-
Well, that's why the Grinch is such a terrible
Because
message.
it has cardiovascular disease.
He should have went to a doctor and said,
Yeah.
"Dude, what's wrong with my heart?"
Mm.
All that anger made him stressed.
Should have had
At
an
the end of The Wizard of Oz, the movie, not the book,
Mhm.
when the Tin Man says, "No, I know I have a heart cause it's breaking," I was
Mhm.
always like worried because I'm like, he was made of tin anyway. Like, is this
Like,
healthy?
is your left arm numb? Well, it's made of tin. Probably is.
Right. And he would cry and he got all rusty. He seemed like he was
Yeah.
on the
yeah.
verge of something bad through the whole movie.
Tin Man Breaking Bad.
Evil Tin Man.
He has an axe and he's not afraid
Well,
to use
so
it.
tin doesn't rust.
Well, it would. I don't know if it was rust, but it would.
Seized up.
When he cried, he would freeze up.
Yeah.
Which is
No,
such
they
an
said it
odd
was
thing to-
rust, but yeah.
Did they say rust? I don't remember.
I think they
But
said
it
rust.
would be he'd stop.
when they
being
found
able to
him and he
walk.
couldn't move. They're like, he's all rusted shut.
Oh yeah, because they had the oil can.
Maybe
Yeah.
he had steel joints.
He had
even
a
though he
steel
was
jaw.
otherwise made of tin.
He could
I
have
just
been a
felt like
UFC
the oil
fighter.
wasn't applied very.
All right.
I mean, I was like,
Protitude subscribed
taking some
with Twitch
artistic
Prime.
liberties in this movie.
Protitude for 3 months.
Hey, Crotitude. Is that like attitude, but you're a crow?
No, pro.
Oh,
Protitude.
protitude.
Yeah.
I thought it was what do they call it
Maybe
when you had two words together? Neologism?
I don't know.
Neologism,
Like for
What?
Cro-Magnon man, and
but it's pro.
Protitude.
This is
protitude.
where I quietly encourage everyone to look at chat so you can see it.
Well, that's a protitude if I have ever heard one.
That's right.
It's a platitude
Oh,
or a platypus.
Protitude of platitude.
no. It's
A platypussycat would be a neologism.
Verse says portmanteau, which is the word.
Oh, is it a portmanteau? What's a neologism?
That is a word. Oh, see, now we got to find this.
All right.
Really
This is
young.
what we do when we bring you home on Good Day Internet. A newly coined word or expression. So portmanteau is taking two words and making and combining them. Neologism is just making a new word entirely.
So, but does the word have to be widely used before it is considered a neologism?
No, it's just right.
Depends on whether you're French or not.
Like, can I just make up a word?
If you in English, you can. Yeah.
Go for it now. Do it now, Roger. I want to hear
Bathwackles.
In French, no. France, you have to get government permission to make up a word.
Wow. Macron has to sign off on it. Macron.
Yeah, they have an institute. I was actually walked by the language, the institute where they do the language protection.
Nice.
And they were outside killing new words that are not allowed.
Did you see Macron while you were there?
No, he was down at the beach at the G7 thing.
Oh, right. That was going on.
Showing off his tan.
Mm-hmm. That's sweet.
I assume when the G7 happens at the beach that they're all just out on lounge chairs, with putting on their sunscreen.
I would assume so, with a couple of exceptions.
Why have it at the beach otherwise?
Yeah.
You think all the sand in everybody's toes would cause more friction?
Yeah.
Decision-making friction and friction physically, too.
Why do you think we have a trade war? Because of the beach.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I'm never going to the sandy place again.
I
Make nice with that country.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Turns all the world leaders into a bunch of Anakin Skywalkers.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody needs that.
No. Bad scene.
I went to the dog park last night on the late side because it was just so hot, I'm not going to take him in the blazing sun. And it was packed because everybody was doing the same thing as me. And I don't know if it's the heat or the fact that maybe all these other dogs were pent up all day too, but it was a little borderline. Some not terrible dog fights, but it was like usually dogs are just kind of coexisting or playing. Yeah, they were. And Otis doesn't like that. He kind of, after a while, he kind of looked at me like, I want to leave.
He's like, let's go.
Yeah, I've got a tennis ball. I would just rather walk with you over there.
It was last night because I walked Ray earlier than usual. She started to get like crazy, just running around. I think she was like, I'm tired of being cooped up.
Yeah.
Get my outside time.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely wanted to run him down because I feel bad. Poor kid. He just
run him down.
So, I mean, truly.
You're no good at math.
Right. You need some tough love.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak English?
Otis and I physically both need to run ourselves down. Then we sleep well and everybody's great.
Sleep well,
yeah. But
I went to bed early last night. I think it was because it was so hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're supposed to be cooling off, but it was still 95 today or yesterday.
Yeah. What is it right now? It's 96.
Yeah, that's a little warm.
Celsius. No,
yeah. Right.
Whoa.
That's why we are all personal bakeries.
Yeah. You thought 85 degrees was good for bacon.
Sous vide.
Yeah.
Living La Vida Sous Vide.
Yeah, when I asked assistant earlier, she said the low tonight was 72. Which is
really?
it makes for a wonderful evening walk, but that means it's after the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Totally.
So so it's like I'm like that's
it was
8 hours
lovely
from
at
now.
9
Wait,
o'clock.
it's going to be 72 out by you?
The
tonight,
low. The low
My
is
4 in the
72.
morning.
My low.
They said high was 97 today.
My low is going to be 77
How are you so much warmer than I am?
because
You're
I'm
so
a loving
close.
person.
No.
I
Yeah.
accept all.
Big heart Roger.
Yeah, I need to see a
Large
doctor
Cart
about it.
Roger.
Large Cart Roger. The name you want to be known
Your compassion is killing you.
for. Yeah. You're too kind. No, I'm serious. You're too kind. You're going to die. You're too kind.
Yeah,
Stop
you want to
being so
live longer? Take care of number
One
one.
thing we've always said about Roger, he's too kind.
Yeah. Just
He's
too
going to
kind.
kill him one day. All right. Shall we do some tech news, ladies and gentlemen?
We shall.
Come into
Balance out this silliness. Here we go. 3, 2. Coming up on DTNS, hot new laptops from Acer and Asus, new sound bars for smart TVs from Amazon and Roku, and a way to pay for things with just your hand. This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, September 4th, 2019 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Feline, I'm Sarah Lane.
In Salt Lake City, I'm Scott Johnson.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
We were just talking about kindness and sand, and it's amazing the breadth of topics that we talk about. The follies of using Waze. We have a tip for how to make Waze work better for you. That's all on Good Day Internet, which you can get at patreon.com/DTNS. Let's start with a few tech things you should know.
Razer announced three 13.3-inch Blade Stealth laptops with Core i7 Ice Lake processors. Two models have the NVIDIA GTX 1650 discrete GPU by default. The third model is an Ultrabook with a 25-watt TDP processor and integrated graphics. All three models have 16 gigabytes of LPDDR4, 3733 megahertz dual-channel RAM, and PCIe M.2 solid-state drives. The least expensive of the new Blade Stealth laptops starts at $1,500.
Not bad. European Competition Commissioner Marguerite Vestager, look at that, announced an examination of the Libra cryptocurrency to see if it would harm competition. Vestager sent questions last month to all 28 members of the Libra Association asking about conditions for membership, how consumer data would be handled, and how Libra-backed products would be integrated into Facebook's platforms.
Yes, you pronounced Marguerite Vestager's name very good.
Thank you.
Roku announced the smart soundbar with the 4K Roku Ultra built inside of it, meaning it can do all the things a Roku Ultra can do, but also be a lovely soundbar. It can connect to any TV using the HDMI ARC port, or it can connect by optical audio, and you can connect to a device over Bluetooth. Supports Dolby Audio, advanced signal processes to maintain sync, and also has new volume modes. Like, for instance, there's a night mode that'll raise the dialogue volume without raising the volume of the explosion, so you don't wake everybody in the house up. Roku also announced the wireless subwoofer that connects to the Roku Smart Soundbar by Wi-Fi and maintains sync that way. Both devices are available for pre-order for $179. And speaking of smart TVs and soundbars, tell me a little bit about what Amazon announced, Sarah.
Yeah, I was all excited about Roku's announcements, and then Amazon came storming in with their own. The company announced a revamped Fire TV Cube streaming device, which now has an IR blaster, a faster processor than the predecessor, and local voice control for some commands that the device can handle without having to send queries to Amazon servers in the cloud. So you're doing it all in one place. The new Fire TV Cube is now in pre-order in the United States for $120. Also pre-orders for Canadians, folks in the UK and Germany. Japan availability starts in November. Amazon also announced the Nebula Soundbar Fire TV Edition made by Anchor, which can stream video, can play music, can sync with other Echo speakers for multi-room audio, and includes a remote control with a microphone within. Pre-orders are open in the same regions I just mentioned. Price is $229.99. Amazon will also begin selling a variety of TVs with some partners. Grundig made OLED TVs with built-in Fire TV software and far-field voice control in Austria and Germany starting in November. A JVC made TV with Fire TV software is coming to Currys, that's in the UK. And Germany's Media Market and Saturn will both begin selling house brand Fire TV sets next year. Finally, in the good old US of A, Amazon also announced a new 65-inch Toshiba Fire TV set.
So yeah, pretty significant to see Grundig making a television with Fire TV's far field voice control built into it. That's significant. Interesting to see the Fire TV Cube get what is kind of a minor upgrade, except for that ability to do some of those processes on the chip. That's basic stuff like saying, navigate around the screen, select the YouTube icon or something like that.
Right.
But the big one here is the soundbar, because now you're seeing the trend here. Roku and Amazon both saying, we're going to sell you a soundbar that has our television service built in. And that, to me, is the most significant of all these announcements, because it's the next generation of these devices. Not everybody wants to buy a little box that they attach to their TV. Some people want it built into the TV, but if they don't want it built into the TV, kind of a value proposition is, hey, you wanted to improve the sound of your TV anyway with a sound bar. You're not into 7.1. You just want the sound bar. We'll add some cool TV software to make your television smart.
Yeah, I really like, of all of these announcements, funny enough, the one that jumps out to me the most is the Anchor device, the Nebula. That is a
soundbar. Yeah,
that's three things I need, and three things I've been putting off. The need for, I should say three things. I really don't care too much about, having another Echo controlled device, or another Amazon services device. But this is going to solve that problem by being integrated with an ecosystem I already use. I need a good sound bar, and I need it to be smarter than the dumb one I have now. So of all these devices, and I love Anchor is the other thing. I totally trust them. They make great stuff, everything from cables to chargers to other kinds of devices. They are, I think, one of the most amazing brands there is for those kinds of accessories. So I'm very happy to see them doing this, and we'll probably pick that thing up sight unseen, just because I really like and trust those guys.
I wonder why they don't have the far field mic in the Nebula soundbar, unless it's a cost issue or Amazon just didn't want to license them the patent for that part of it. Because they put it in the Grundig TV, right? Like, why couldn't they put it in the Nebula soundbar?
Right. And for $230, it's not the most expensive soundbar, but you know, you're paying for something that has a lot of bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the other thing is Anker products tend to be less expensive than bigger branded competing products, but they don't skimp on quality and warranty, and everything I've ever gotten from them just works as designed. So for whatever reason, I'm just having a lot of brand loyalty on that announcement, and I feel pretty good about it. But I also just feel good about the idea that this is not me diving into a single branded product that is completely controlled by one sort of closed garden. This is Amazon Voice Services. This is Anker hardware. This is a sound device that's pretty much universal to whatever I'm going to need, whether it's Bluetooth or whatever. It just feels like a nice middle ground choice where I'm not having to, pledge myself for the next 10 years to some new brand.
What about Roku though? $179. It's cheaper. Still an open platform, although they're making the hardware in this case. Is that what bothers you?
Part of it would be this. I'd need to hear the sound quality side to side, because that would be the big differentiator between these two devices for me. So hearing the Roku versus the Anker speakers have been really good from my experience, for what they're meant to be. Roku would have to, impress me in that regard, but I don't know why it is. I just hold.
You love Anker. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. It's weird. In my head, I see steel and I see plastic. You say Roku, I see plastic. I hear Anker, I hear steel. I don't know why, but there's just like that. That's
not the actual look of the devices. That's just your sort of imaginatory preference.
It also sounds to me like the Nebula is going to be much better if you're like, okay, well, what if I bought a couple, cheap end Echo speakers and I can kind of recreate surround sound? I know that Roku's new soundbar does connect to other devices via Bluetooth, but that's a little bit more limited depending on what you have. Yeah. I'm always trying to figure out how to create surround sound with like cheap parts in a smaller room.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the soundbars do a pretty good job of surround sound, but it's never going to be the same as an actual 5.1 or 7.1 or something like that.
I mean, if you have
but the Bluetooth is just an added feature. The Bluetooth isn't how it connects most of the time. That's just like, you can also put your phone through it.
Right.
Yeah, but I think one of the selling points with the Nebula is, and if you have other Echo speakers, then you can do multi audio in a room.
The U.S. Federal Trade Commission announced Wednesday that it has fined Google over allegations that YouTube violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. Google will pay $170 million total in fines. $136 million of that goes to the FTC. That's the FTC's largest yet COPPA violation fine. $34 million is going to go to settle a complaint with the New York Attorney General's office for similar violations. COPPA requires data collection of users that are age 12 or younger to be done with parents' consent, has to have a privacy policy, has to disclose what's being collected, a few other restrictions. And YouTube didn't age gate videos. You could go to youtube.com and watch videos all day long with no need to even log in, right? Well, YouTube was using data on viewers aged 2 to 12 in sales pitches to toy companies, at the same time claiming it did not have users younger than 13 because it didn't allow you to sign up for an account if you said you were younger than 13. And so Google claimed it didn't need to comply with COPPA. Catching them doing both those things is what led to the fine, and YouTube must now also let owners of channels identify child-directed content, which will then face different data management policies. And YouTube, of course, has agreed to follow all COPPA guidelines going forward.
I love that. YouTube's like, well, we can't have users under 13 because those are our rules. However, here's a lot of data on children 2 through 12.
That is definitely, a company that it has a few hundred people and one of them not knowing what the other is doing. I'm sure the person who wrote that email said, okay, legally, defensibly, we can say we don't target kids. We don't sign up kids. Our videos aren't meant for kids, so we don't have to follow COPPA. But in the data, they found like, hey, but it looks like we have some kids. Let's pitch Mattel and Hasbro with that, right?
Sure, yeah.
And not only do you have some kids, you have millions of kids. I guarantee there are millions of kids under 13 with accounts that say they're over 13.
And that's why they made YouTube Kids, because they knew that, right?
That's why they made it, and that was a good thing. I think YouTube Kids was a really smart move, although it's still a little weird. But this is just another step in the maturation process of YouTube, where they have to sort of grapple with these larger issues that usually only TV people had to worry about. But now they're the TV people, and they're having to worry about it in ways that hopefully doesn't mean more regulation. They can just sort of adhere to the current regulation, and everyone will be okay. The Light Company began shipping Light Phone 2 to crowdfunding backers. Light Phone 2 was designed to be fully functional as a simple phone, adding to the limited feature of the first Light phone while trying to maintain the promise of limiting distraction. We're all looking for that, I guess. The phone originally was supposed to ship in April, but was delayed to improve the design. The Light Phone 2 will retail for $350 with a 2.84-inch e-ink touch display, Bluetooth, tethering, and more.
So my old man reaction to this story is just turn off your notifications, people. Just turn them all off, And then when you miss one, then you could turn that one back on. But why do you need a whole separate device? But apparently some people are like, you know what? That just doesn't work for me. And I get that. The willpower argument is never a really good argument for somebody who's like, yeah, but that doesn't stop me from eating the chocolate bars or whatever it is, right? So having a device where you're like, I will take this one and I won't be able to be notified because it's limited is good. Problem with the Light Phone 1 was nobody was using it because it was too limited. So they're trying to strike the balance here. Yeah.
Well, especially since I think a lot of it with the original Light Phone, and I had a couple friends who were like, "Oh, this is great for a limited time," and then they abandoned their phones because it was just too restrictive. It's like, okay, all it really does is make phone calls. Well, I've gotten really used to making a phone call as a last resort because I have so many other ways to get a hold of people.
Sometimes making a phone call is rude, right?
Right.
It's just there are just, even if some people are better on the phone than others, but it's like we just have so many more options. I have been trained to use a variety of ways to get a hold of people depending on the person. I'm probably not going to connect with Scott over WhatsApp, but another friend I would, because I'm like, that's kind of where they hang out. You just get used to it. So it's restrictive in a weird way. So I think opening it up a little bit more, but still saying, hey, we're trying to cut down on what could be unhealthy usage of stuff that is not enriching your life. It's kind of taking away from it, or it's wasting time. It's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of self-control that needs to be had in any situation like this. I'm with you, Tom. I think if there was really an issue, it's like our phones have gotten better and better at bundling in tools that help us at least know our usage. Even if our behaviors don't change, at least we kind of know, like, hey, I'm spending a lot of time in this app. And that's almost better than taking away options for me.
Tom was right about the whole chocolate thing. I mean, what they're trying to say is, well, if we limit all that, then there's nothing you can do about it. The other way is like buying Twinkies and having them in the cupboard and knowing they're there, but just stalwartly avoiding them.
Yeah, right.
And I get that, but the phones are so versatile in terms of giving you more choice that if you're really serious about limiting your stuff, just go in there and do that because your phone does it already.
Yeah, but now you have a more somewhat more viable option. I think this is one of the better versions of this if you're looking for something like that. Sure. It's a little pricey though. $350.
That's a chunk of change. The New York Post reports Amazon is testing scanners that identify people by their hands to let them pay for purchases in stores. Sources told the Post the technology is called the Orville, not the Orville, just Orville. I don't want to confuse people who watch TV, and is being tested at vending machines at Amazon offices in New York. The machines use computer vision and depth sensors to identify hand shape and size. So this is not fingerprints. This is not vein layout. This is your hand, the shape of your hand.
Probably more similar to something like Face ID or, simple face recognition.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on TMS with Tom this morning, and the conversation rolled into, well, what if your hands, you get mutilated or you get older, your hands, you get arthritis, like your hands are going to start looking different. So maybe there's recalibration or those kind of issues that you would have to deal with. Any other kind of disfigurement or loss or change, depending on what kind of security you're using. But this seemed like as good as any other. I'd love to raise my hand at a Whole Foods and have it just go bloop. All right, see you, Mr. Johnson. You're good.
Yeah. I imagine it being more like a Gom Jabbar the pain box from Dune, where you stick your hand in a box and it scans it. It's probably not like either one of those. But yeah, it's not palm print. It's scanning your full hand. And yeah, I mean, your hand might change shape over time, but probably less than your face. And they've been able to make Face ID work. So this is interesting. And of course, they're testing it. That's why you test things, to see if you can make it work.
I want the first error so I can find the person who has an identical hand to me somewhere in the world who might also be shopping at Whole Foods.
Right. I mean, it's going to be pretty unlikely that that's going to happen, but that would make a good documentary, wouldn't it?
Well, Roger had said earlier he was convinced that it was going to be no time before somebody walked in with a rubber hand and got through.
Roger was going to create the rubber hand. Right?
It's like the new carpool scam.
Yep.
I've got this hand. No, really. This is how
there will be one case. I guarantee it. It may not be rubber. Right. It might be wood. Might be something. It might be just, a cadaver.
Sir, can you please extend your whole arm out of the coat? Oh, it turns out it's not just a rubber hand. It's also 3 children in an overcoat.
They're on top of each other.
It's 2, all right? If they're middle-aged kids. Ha!
This is not too different than the fact that I'm still almost always carrying my wallet with me, even though I can use my phone to pay for things, because I'm like, fail safe, right? So yes, your hand might be the way it goes. If for some reason the machine is down or it's being weird, it's like, you will most likely have a backup form of payment until the stuff gets really, really good.
Exactly.
Facebook announced on Tuesday that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security would be violating rules if the agents created fake profiles to monitor people seeking to enter the country. Facebook requires all users to use real names, even if they're secret agents. Facebook says it'll shut down accounts of anyone found to violate that policy, including those undercover. DHS told the Associated Press that fake accounts make it easier to review visa and green card and citizenship applications. DHS also does not allow agents to interact on Facebook, only passively reviewing information.
Yeah, according to this AP story, they can't friend people, they can't like posts, they can't interact in any way. And let's, for the sake of discussion here, let's set aside the controversy over whether DHS should be doing this. There's a whole conversation to be had about should someone who is applying for a visa have to subject their social media to scrutiny or not, right? We could have that conversation in a separate arena. But just for this, the thing that struck me, and we talked about it quite a bit in our production meeting today, why would you need a fake account for DHS to do this? If they're not interacting, if they're not friending anybody, they're not liking anything, all they're doing is viewing. And on Facebook, I don't think you can even tell who has viewed your profile.
No. Yeah. Any tool that says you can is not.
Yeah. It wouldn't need to be a fake account. It could just be
if you're involved in a clandestine operation, having your real name anywhere in print is probably something you don't want.
Sure. But we're not talking about espionage here. We're talking about DHS reviewing visa applications, right? Like, it's probably public record who are the people in the visa application review staff anyway.
Yeah, I'm with Tom on this in that I'm confused why they think they need them to be fake, given all the factors that we know. But the only thing I can think of is it's probably just, well, if Facebook changes their policy and suddenly they do report visits, we're not caught unaware. So if we have fake accounts, then we're covered either way. That's what I bet is going through their heads.
I think it has to do with what Sarah said, which is secretly they are friending people and liking people and conducting espionage, but they can't say that. So they need to
that could be. But either way, it's like they're covered, right? Like with a fake account, they can do whatever they need to do. And if something changes on the Facebook side, which is now happening, which is kind of going to mess them up. But if something happens, well, then they are forced to, they'd be forced to reveal themselves. So I don't know what their motivations are. It's very weird.
Well, the whole thing about, we're just monitoring something someone might say that might lead us to believe that they were planning to enter the US. Okay. Some people are going to be doing that in public.
Oh, no. This is, I have applied to enter the US, and this person reviewing the application is now looking at social media to find out, are they on there saying things that would cause concern?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But okay. So yes, they might be on there saying things that cause concern. They also might be doing that much more privately, in which case the agent would want to be being a little bit more sleuthy in terms of.
But they're not allowed to friend people. They're not allowed to like. They're not allowed to interact. So they couldn't be sleuthy. That's my point.
But if they're fake, then maybe they're doing it without.
That's the only explanation I could think of, is that all of these policies aren't.
And maybe Facebook
really
knows this and is like, well, let's just say for the record, you can't do this.
Well, I think Facebook can just easily say, like, look, you can't make a fake account. I don't care who you are. That allows them to just get out of the conspiracy theory business altogether.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like they don't need any help in that arena. They could probably get out of some of that. So yes.
Facebook's like, we told the secret agents to just follow our rules.
Yeah.
Now, there are people in the chat room. There are people in the chat room suggesting there might be a regulation against certain employees registering themselves on social networks. We don't see a citation for that so I can't say that for sure, but maybe there is a policy that says, if you're in this position, you're not allowed to have a Facebook account. I don't know. That seems odd. Maybe your Facebook account can't be used for official purposes. That could make sense too. I don't know.
Sure.
Well, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, keep up to date quickly. Subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. We're going to finish up with some of the announcements at IFA going on in Berlin, one of the biggest tech conferences of the year. Acer announced the following: 4 new Chromebooks with screens from 11.6 inches up to 15 inches, all with Google Assistant, starting at $249, up to the most expensive, the convertible Spin 311 Chromebook at $329. Acer also expanded its Concept D Pro grade laptops, adding a budget 15-inch Concept D3 model, and then offering, even though they're all pro grade, they now offer the Concept D Pro line, which is basically the previously existing Concept D laptops, but with NVIDIA's Quadro RTX graphics cards in there. They're available in November with the Concept D3 starting at $1,000 and the new upgraded Pro Concept Ds from $1,700. Acer also announced the $14,000 Predator Thronos Air gaming chair, which you may not realize is a cheap version of the $20,000 Thronos chair announced at last year's IFA. This new cheaper one does not have a motorized arm. That's the big savings, but it does have a built-in massage button, available in Q4 in Europe and North America.
Yeah, that chair is something. Have you guys seen that thing? It's like a throne for the king of gaming.
Thronos. That's why they named it that, I guess.
Yeah, literally. It is really.
They also named it Predator.
Yeah.
That's the gaming laptop. And probably an increasingly hard to justify choice in these days, but
Sure. Yeah.
Why not? I mean, they make great stuff though. And I'm excited mostly about those NVIDIA, the integrated video in those laptops is super good. Those not Quadro, what are they called? Crap, I just had it in my head.
Quadro. It's right there.
There you go. The RTX 5000s are very fast for mobile use. So it's nice to see those things inching closer and closer to desktop power. Of course, then they turn right around and make desktop the king again, and it won't matter. But for now, it looks real good.
Asus showed off prototypes of laptop gaming displays with a 300 hertz refresh rate. Yow.
Whoa.
Promised to ship a 1080p 300 hertz display in the Zephyrus S GX701 in October. Asus also announced an upgraded ROG Phone 2 Ultimate Edition. The difference between the Ultimate and the regular ROG Phone 2 is it has a terabyte of storage and a matte black finish, and also supports faster Cat24G LTE. The new ROG Phone 2 Ultimate will cost you 1,199 euros when it arrives in October. If you didn't know, the ROG Phone 2, not Ultimate, with its 120 hertz OLED display, ships this month for 899 euros. And finally, Asus announced its Pro Art line, including the 17-inch StudioBook Pro 10 with Asus ScreenPad 2.0. That's a touchscreen trackpad, or it's basically a touchscreen where the trackpad is, that can be used as a mini display if you want. It also has NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 and up to Intel Xeon or 9th Gen Core i7 processor inside. No price on that, but it should be available by the end of the year, they say.
That one is interesting to me. I'm not sure I want it. I'd have to see the touchscreen trackpad in use in a way where I'm like, oh yeah, this is really nice as a mini display. 17 inches is huge, but if it's light and thin, then a lot of screen real estate.
Yeah, I want it. I think it's safe to say I don't need it. Also, I have questions about that 300. The screen
Refresh rate.
300 hertz is insane. That's insane. Like 120 hertz, you can tell a difference. You can absolutely tell a difference. Some would say 144 hertz is the maximum. I'm not sure the human eye. I'd have to do the science. I don't know enough about it, but I don't think the human eye can tell. So that 300 hertz is going to be monster overkill, and they're going to sell a ton.
Oh, you can tell your friends that you have a 300 hertz refresh rate.
That's what they said about AK. And
well, and it's also
stop anybody making TVs.
That's true, but this thing is obviously aimed at gamers, Twitch gamers, and by Twitch gamers I mean fast-paced shooter gamers, people that maybe even want to be pros, because limiting that thing to 1080p is always a sign that the gamer's not looking for the ultimate in 4K fidelity in the games they play. They are looking for the fastest possible display, which only helps you when you're playing.
Yeah. No, I mean, even if it's overdoing it, even if there isn't any reason to have a 300 hertz display, which, hey, if you know of a reason that you can justify, feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. We'd love to hear it. It's going to be the one where you're like, well, there's not going to be a problem with the refresh rate if I've got 300 hertz, right? So that's
true.
That's a good one. We've got some good stuff there coming from Asus. And that screen pad, by the way, isn't new. We saw that at CES. So it'll be interesting to see if it really gets any kind of uptake and what kind of uses that gets put to.
Hey, thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. You can submit stories. You can also vote on stories that other people submitted at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. We love your contributions. We also love our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/dailytechnewsshow.
I'd say check out the mailbag, but it's not an email. It's comments on Patreon. It's feedback. So I guess it's the feedback.
It's the feedback. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah. So this is actually great timing because my Live With It, the second Live With It 3-month period with smart light bulbs is coming to a close. I've taken lots of notes. In fact, we're going to go through a lot of those notes on the show, and that'll all be available to you. We're going to do that after the show tomorrow. However, Live With It goes on. The third era is going to be what smartwatch should Sarah live with? And we decided, okay, well, what's a category? Because it's worked out pretty well that we choose a category where I'm like, I don't really have any of that. I don't have an opinion yet. What I don't have, smartwatch. So we narrowed it down to 4. The Apple Watch Series 4. And yes, we know that there may be something that's announced next week. If so, we will take that into consideration.
Yeah, it might become a Series 5. We'll see.
Exactly. Fitbit Versa 2, that's new. Seems like that's an easy one. The Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 and the Fossil Gen 5. And so far, voting's open to anybody. So patrons and anybody who would like to contribute, please do vote. The more, the merrier. And yeah, we have a lot of good responses so far in the comment section. People saying Fitbit Versa 2 seems like the logical choice. This is probably the smartphone that's going to work as well with iOS as Android, and vice versa. Obviously the Apple Watch is an obvious choice for an iPhone user such as myself, but it's not the only choice. That was from Tyler. Tyler said that. Michael also said, I'd rather see a review on the yet to be announced Apple Watch 5. Again, Michael, we will cross that bridge if we come to it. Scott said, I voted for the Fossil Gen 5, wondering how well a traditional Android based smartwatch would work with an iPhone. And the comments keep coming in, so it's good to know what you all think and how you will influence our buying decision making.
Genuinely excited for the possibility of the voting getting the Versa in your hands, because I am really, and I've been an Apple Watch user for a couple of years. I love this thing; it's been great, but I think it's priced out of a lot of people's pockets, and I think that they. Given how quickly Apple updates them, you always feel sort of this weird pressure to get the latest one. I would very much like to see Fitbit have some really cool competition in this space, going OLED, making that software even better. I still get my notifications and all the things I really use this for. So my vote, not that it counts, but I'd vote for the Fitbit. That's what I do.
Well, as of this recording, the Versa and the Apple Watch are neck and neck for as in the lead. So yeah, we'll see how this all shakes out in the next Well, a couple weeks. And when I say a couple weeks, some of this stuff, there's some pre-orders to keep in mind. And yes, there are some announcements that are coming next week and the following week that we want to take into consideration, just in case the landscape changes more drastically than we expect. So yeah, got a couple weeks to vote. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, don't even have to be a patron.
Nope.
If that wasn't clear, just go to patreon.com/DTNS. You will have to create a Patreon login, but you don't have to spend any money if you don't want to vote in the poll.
Nice.
Thanks to Scott Johnson for being with us today. Scott, you've put in your smartwatch votes. What else have you got going on?
Oh, all sorts of fun stuff. Go check it out over at frogpants.com if you're interested in the podcasting side of what I do or the art side of what I do. There's something there for everybody. So go check it out. Lots of stuff happening. Just put up a new episode of Current Geek. It's a show I do with Tom on Tuesdays. And we have so much fun on that show. We're actually doing what we like to call an autopilot edition of the show next Tuesday, where we're watching the pilot of Friends. Now, what makes that weird is how weird that episode is. It is a funky pilot, and it's not what you remember. If you go watch it now, you'd be like, this is not like the rest of the series. So we try to do that. We find strange stuff like that. Even in the most popular of shows, you get a little bit of a surprise. So Current Geek every week on Tuesdays. You can find that at frogpants.com. And lots of other stuff as well. Follow me on Twitter at Scott Johnson too, if you're so inclined.
Not to overload you, but we are also thinking of changing our Patreon rewards. So we came up with a proposal, and we'd like you to look it over if you are someone who wants to support the show on Patreon. Let us know if there's anything in there you just can't live with. You can find the proposed Patreon reward changes at dailytechnewsshow.com/Patreon.
And if you have feedback for us, a great way to do it is send us an email, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. If you'd like to join us live Monday through Friday, well, guess what? Good news. We are live, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 2030 UTC, and you can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live.
Back tomorrow with Justin Robert Young. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
All righty.
Nice.
There's so much that we need you to do. That's part of the deal when we are a show that is independent and values its audience. Sometimes we ask a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things. So many of you listening to this, maybe watching this, already know what the title of the show is, but we don't. It's a mystery to us. You know something we don't. Isn't that weird? It's like time travel.
Gotta go back in time.
So go to dtns.showbot.tv if you're watching live, and you will see what we see, which is won't stop me eating chocolate as the leading headline suggestion for DTNS. Also giving Amazon the finger. Hand. Not espionage. Imaginatory impressions. That was probably the worst thing I've ever said in my life. Speaking of speakers, that's pretty good. I like that one.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Scott has been anchored.
I kind of have.
The smartphone 15. That's kind of like putting on 15 pounds because of your smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The 5 finger.
I kind of like the.
Speaking of speakers.
It's pretty good.
Let's do that.
Okay. What was the 5-finger ATM in reference to?
Your hand.
Yeah, the 5-finger discount reference.
Well, it's technically 4 fingers and a thumb.
And then for Good Day Internet, TVZ Gun's suggestion is leading the vote with avoiding difficult intersections.
That's the one I like.
I think that's brilliant. Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's ADI today on GDI.
Yeah. Big Heart Rogers, another good one.
I like it too because it seems like we're saying avoiding difficult interactions,
Mm-hmm.
But we're not.
Although it is an interaction of sorts, an intersection.
I suppose.
I don't want to interact by T-boning another car.
I do not want to interact with that car coming at me at 65 miles an
Physical
hour.
interaction, not cool.
Just
Avoiding difficult intersections. So there you go. Now we also know the titles of the show. We are now up to speed with you, the listener later.
The layer of listeners.
Layers and layers of listeners.
There's so many.
So many.
No
Am I
longer.
the only person who's now starting to see the flood of Burning Man photos?
Oh yeah.
No. I
Same.
had,
Took a couple days, but boy, are they coming in. And some of them you look and you're like, oh, you've like even gone through Photoshop. I can tell there's some processing going on. These are very nice, but
I have not seen a single picture from Burning Man.
oh,
I have seen many, and
oh.
everybody always says, Scott, what would it take you to get you to Burning Man one year? My answer is always a clean toilet.
do you
Because
want
they
to
don't have those there. They don't do that.
A hotel
Yeah, a hotel with room service.
with
Right.
indoor
not being
plumbing?
Burning Man is pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I in theory, I like the concept so much. I really do. But
Mhm.
it's just dirty. It's
And
just
it's
gross.
expensive.
Yeah,
It's-
that's I have no opinion on the sort of like lovey-dovey artistic stuff because I've never been, and so it's not fair for me to have
Yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the dirtiness.
Yeah.
BioCow says he's been to Burning Man and the
Mhm.
toilets were actually pretty clean.
Mm,
The
That's
sand
good.
the sand kind of whittles down the
Mm.
germs and
Have you been?
cruft. No.
Roger's like, but here's what I know.
Here's what I know. Well, so this is the thing. Having worked on system enough, I've met every facet of burner. I've met the people who just go, so that's like Smack. I've met the people who build the really
Mac is a
large.
person, in case anyone has no
Yes.
idea what he's talking about.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Smack person. I've met the individuals that design and build those large displays or floats that they take up there, and it seems like not my kind of scene. So I don't. I wouldn't go.
It's not even really. I don't mind. You know, it's like it's
I'm
just, I'm
not-
just
I'm
not
not
going.
criticizing
I don't
it.
care who goes or doesn't go because I'm just sort of like,
You
yeah, not my thing.
you have to like camping, it sounds like.
yeah, oh,
Right.
yeah.
Well, but you can get pretty fancy.
You can get
to-
pretty fancy. You could like glamping, I suppose, right?
Yeah, so
But-
I know people who do. It's like
Yeah.
opposite ends of the spectrum. Some of
But
it
there's
is
some
like
people who are like
quite
Scott,
posh.
if it's not a hotel, I ain't going, right? So
Yeah.
right.
you
If
got to
you
be
just-
You know what it was? If it's 10 of my friends, I'm going. That sounds
right,
great.
right.
Desert, let's set a giant fire. That sounds great.
But
You're
you
in
have to
charge.
like
Yeah.
some kind of camping. You also have to like being around some hippie-ish people. I don't mean that pejoratively, but there's definitely a sensibility.
There's a
And if you're like, oh, I don't like the
You have to be
artsy-
comfortable with the human body.
and
I don't know
questionable
enough about Burning Man
fashion.
to say that, Roger. I've heard stories, but yeah, possibly.
I've seen
Oh,
enough
you've
pictures.
seen photos. There's quite a bit of nudity.
Well, I don't. Yes,
That is
but
a
seeing
thing.
photos is not the same as being there. The photos can give you a misimpression of something.
That is true.
Right,
That is true.
yeah.
It's not 100%,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
but
think
it
it's
is
more of just like if
I didn't have
everyone.
a single rude French waiter on my trip. Very disappointed.
It's
Well done.
I think the way I feel about it, it's not so much it's Burning Man. It's sort of like if like a million people, I don't know if Burning Man has a million people, if many thousands of people went to like one island in Hawaii and then my news feeds were inundated with pictures of Hawaiian beaches for a week, I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, the Hawaii people are at
for
it
sure.
again. You know,
BioCow, by the way,
kinda-
BioCow, who has been to Burning Man in our chat room, says our ticket takers were completely nude at the gate, literally greeted by nude people when we got there. So
Yeah.
having lived in San Francisco, I'm like, whatever.
yeah,
Nude people riding the bus.
I was driving my nephew around LA a few years back. He came and he was an intern for Sword and Laser and stuff. And there was a nude bike ride happening in downtown LA. I'm like, well, yeah, this is California. What are you gonna
Enjoy
do?
that.
Yep, some
I'm
nudity.
a big fan of the art installation stuff they do. Like all of those things appeal to me. It's a dirty, rotten week of dirty, gross, gritty food. Like and you're gonna have sand and everything. And the photos probably took 4 extra days.
Always comes back to sand.
Everyone's blowing sand out of their SD cards today. They can't get the photos out fast enough because of it. That's the part that I couldn't do.
I'll be
But
honest. When I was in college, I would have loved Burning Man. In fact, even when I lived in Austin, I remember when Burning Man was still small, and there were tales told of like there's these folks who go out in the desert in California and they just burn this big giant effigy. And
It also
sounded cool.
I know that the art stuff is, I mean, it's a huge part of it and it's still really cool, but there's a sort of like, oh, it's created for a great Instagram photo. Like there's so much of that, and that's probably a lot of me just being jaded. But it's like, oh, it's the perfect photo. Oh, I get it. You're so clever.
Right?
Yeah. Kind of thing.
I could totally.
I haven't looked at Instagram in a couple of days.
Yeah.
That's why I don't need a separate phone, because I'm bad at this. I just don't look. Oh my gosh, my first photo I see is Jeff Kanata's eye.
Yeah, his eye gnarly, man. He got serious surgery.
Oh, this is a bad thing. I thought you just meant it was like a picture of his eye.
No. It's post-op checkoff from his surgery. So it's a bad and good thing.
What was the surgery?
Remember the name of the condition or the potential condition he was trying to stave off? I forgot the name.
Oh, see, I'm behind. I didn't
basically
realize there was
saving his vision with a surgery. He originally thought he wasn't going to be able to speak for 6 weeks, because the original surgery they scheduled would have been very dangerous and difficult. But he got a second opinion, and now it's a much easier recovery period for him.
Why would because there's something attached to the eye and the.
Oh, I don't know all the medical details, but
yikes! Oh man, 6 weeks. What would you do? You just wrap yourself up like a mummy?
You just would have to lay face down and not talk.
Oh,
Oh my God!
My mom had to do that.
That is not what he ended up getting. But
that's good.
My mom had to do. She had eye surgery, and they inserted a little bubble of nitrogen in her eye, and she had to basically lay flat on her belly like for most of the day, just so the bubble goes in the back and forms.
I know what it was. He had a retina detachment.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. It was bad enough. It was one that was bad enough where you had to go pretty extreme. I had one of those when I was 14, but it wasn't that bad.
Were you struck in the head? Like, was it from like a?
It was from wrestling. I wrestled a kid on my trampoline who's way bigger than me, and he kneed my head, and then I had blood in my vision for days, and then we went and got it checked, and that was it.
Was the kid hairy?
Yeah, he was hairy, actually.
You could say you wrestled a bear.
Oh, wait. Are you saying that's cooler to say I wrestled a bear?
I'm just saying. I expected you to say I wrestled a bear for some reason. And so I'm like, how can we make this story be about a bear?
That's a good point.
Or you could say that you were like learning to play rugby.
Yeah, I could say that.
Something very
I think the bear is cooler, to be honest. I love rugby, but
it was bad. And it's actually the thing that contributed to the early, my left eye having an early cataract was that injury. So you can have other residual stuff happen later. But in Jeff's case, I think
that's why they called him Left Eye Johnson.
Right. It's actually, and also that stuff heals a lot easier when you're a kid, when you're younger. But, Jeff, a guy who's, 40 now? Whatever it is. It gets a little more complicated, and the first surgery he described sounded nightmarish. So this is definitely an improvement over that.
That's something I got to watch for as I get older.
Yeah, eye stuff sucks, man. I hate it.
Retinal detachment, because I have, as nearsighted people, you're from what I understand, your eyeball goes from a sphere into more of a ellipsoidal shape, like a football. But as it does that, the back of that your retina attaches to also shapes that way, and it's more likely your retina will get detached from moderate to severe trauma to the head. So if someone like ran into you with, on a bike, ran into you or something as you were walking by, gotta keep that. Yeah,
that's bad.
I just want bionic eyes.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
I don't even care about flying cars. Just give me my bionic eyes.
Yeah.
Keep the flying cars for the far, far future.
I want a HUD. I want interactable stuff, elements in the HUD. I want to look up and go, oh, it's 78 degrees out there, and over here in the corner it says what time it is. And
I want something that lets me have X-ray vision, tells me if people are lying, like I can see their heartbeat or whatever. It's like, oh, they're lying to me, and also do price matching. Right when I'm in the store. So like immediate, I just look at something, like I look at a couch and I'll automatically list like, you can get this.
You want augmented reality is what you're saying.
Yes, but I want my eye to be physically better than what I have right now.
You want augmented reality to augment your vision.
As well as have better vision. I also like telescopic vision, night vision, the rest of it.
Yeah, augment covers all of that.
Yeah, that covers that. You want to be what's the phrase?
Supervision.
You want to do, not supervision. You want to do like steam or cyberpunk style. eye correct or eye stuff, right? Like you want actual like implants that
William
are
Gibson stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there
just
you
want
go.
like new eyes. I want like Blade Runner. I want new eyes.
You want augmented reality in your eyes.
Yes.
In other words, you want to be able to go to somebody's underground lab in Los Angeles and have them say, "Are you Nexus 6? I made your eyes."
I have a Nexus 4, so if they can bring that camera from my phone into my eyes, that would be perfect.
If you could see what I've seen with your eyes.
But now you can, because with Wi-Fi, I can share images over Google Photos.
That's right.
Now you can see.
Yeah, why couldn't Roy Batty have shared what he saw? It seems like that would have been built into the Nexus replicants, right?
Well,
True.
they're human though. That's the thing. They're replicants, but aren't they
Well,
synthetic?
they're more
humans?
human than human, if that's what
Which makes no sense. You're either human. Or, I mean, it's
No, haven't you ever listened to Rob Zombie?
as for like advice,
Father.
like
Fun.
for life
for
advice.
advice.
Yeah, his advice might be a little dark.
So I need to lose some weight, Rob Zombie. What should I do?
He'd say, "Be more human than a human."
Yeah,
So-
that's
right.
Are you saying
And
more
say,
fiber?
"Oh, that's great advice, Rob Zombie. Thank you."
that whole
That's all you gotta do.
Sarah, that album's great though, isn't it? Like
Oh
the-
yeah.
Actually,
that was White Zombie.
A
when he was
mutual
performing White
acquaintance of
Zombie.
Tom and I's actually used to be a roadie for Rob Zombie, and
Really?
he was
Probably has some stories.
he does, and he used to dress up in the suit, or it's not the like the metal suit or something, but he would come out on stage and dance. I forgot which song it was, but he had videos of it. We were watching it.
He's a horrible film director, but he's a decent cartoonist, which I'll just throw that out there. That's a
What were his films?
Did he do
No.
the Hills? Not the Hills Have Eyes.
He did
the-
Zombieland. And
no, he didn't.
No.
He did.
No?
He did a remake of The Hills Have Eyes. He did
that
a
was
remake
it.
Halloween, which was very bad years ago. And
He
then
did the remake of The Hills Have Eyes that was like 2004.
Mhm.
It was the worst movie.
I think that was him.
I don't remember him being associated with it, but I had to do it for like a junket back in the day, and I was like, this just shouldn't have been made.
Yeah,
Just
He's
a
got-
bad thing.
he gets the gore down just fine, but his
Pacing
Yeah.
and plot are non-existent.
and acting
Speaking
is
of
real bad.
gore,
Wait,
this is an actual thought that occurred in my head. I'm going to follow it anyway. Speaking of gore, did you know that the Comedy Central show That's My Bush about President Bush would have been about Al Gore if he had won the election?
Yeah,
They had planned the show for whoever won.
I heard that was true of our cartoon president on Showtime, that they had similar plans. If
Mhm.
Clinton would have won, she would have been the focus.
It would have been either one. Yeah.
Okay, so Rob Zombie had nothing to do with The Hills Have Eyes that I'm talking about. This was a 2006 film. He wrote The Hills Have Eyes the beginning,
Ah, okay. So
okay.
it wasn't a
which is
remake. It was a prequel.
2015. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is also very bad.
Oh, after the 2006 situation, I was like, don't
I haven't
like
even
the
watched
story.
the original one.
The decent
It's Wes
movie.
Craven. People like it.
He made a movie called The Devil's Rejects, which I think is
Yes,
actually-
that was the one I was thinking of.
yeah, that's 05. It was okay, and everyone thought, "Oh, look at this! Maybe he's going to be the next big horror director." And then
No,
everything after that was poop.
Mhm.
I by the way, I do have to credit Justin Robert Young's most recent interview on Politics with informing me about the Al Gore thing.
Oh, well, he's always there for us.
If you're not listening to PX3, you're missing out.
I tangentially met him at an event.
Who, Justin Robert Young?
No, Al Gore.
Al Gore. Oh. How do you tangentially?
I was
meet him?
standing next to him when he
Using a
was greeting
secant?
everyone in the team that was shooting his little.
Ah.
It was a live cast, but I didn't
Mhm.
actually shake his hand. He just said, "Hey, yeah, thanks for being."
Is
here."
that
I
name
used to work
dropping?
for him
If you
at
only
Current TV.
Oh right, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
He led a few company-wide meetings.
Yeah. Did you attend a meeting led by Al Gore?
I did actually. So when I worked there was when two of the journalists were in North Korea. Remember that?
Oh,
Uh-huh.
the Lisa Ling and
Yeah.
And she's but that's rude of me that her name's escaping me, but she was like a shooter editor, and who I actually worked with somewhat often. And yeah, when they were detained, Al Gore had come to kind of like let everybody know that we had a strategy.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I famously, I'm in my own mind, but I famously bumped into Mitt Romney's junk at an event.
Like, was
Famously.
was it your shoulder or your
Scott,
hand?
anyway.
It was my
Probably the
he was at a Christmas concert downtown here in Salt Lake City, and I happened to be there. And as I walked past him, and he was working his way to where his family was, this would have been post 2012 election, so it was after
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked past, and I kind of swung my arm around, didn't see him, and just smacked my hand right in his crotch.
Oh, wow.
And he was very nice. He's like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, it's my bad," he says. And I'm like, "Oh, no, my bad. I did not mean to touch you in the."
I don't remember where it was, but I didn't touch his junk, but I had a run-in with Mitt Romney where like it was like a crowded place. I can't
Maybe
think
he
of
just
where
likes
it would
running
be,
into people.
but whoever I was with was like, that was Mitt Romney. And I was like, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Because, you know, he was right there. I'm like, that's definitely who that is.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that was. I feel like it would have had to been at somewhere like CES or when would I ever run into him? Maybe it was at airport.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I danced on the same dance floor as Bill Gates once.
Ah, yes. I remember that party.
Yeah. And I shook hands with Paul Allen when he bought Tech TV.
I did too.
He came around to everybody's desk and shook their hand one day.
He was I actually liked him as like, you know, just initially. It was
just kind of awkward, right?
It was
like
awkward,
he wasn't offensive or anything. It was just like
the people the Vulcan Ventures people, I did not like.
Vulcan Vultures, more like.
But just something about him. But like he was fine. It was weird you mentioned that because 2 years later at CES, I rubbed shoulders physically with Bill Gates because I was shooting a bit with Patrick at one of these booths, and he was part of an entourage that came in, and his tweed jacket just brushed up against my camera shoulder.
Steve Ballmer walked past my office one day, and I went, "Hey, I know who you are."
Did you say developers?
No.
Oh,
I didn't want to get kicked out of my own office.
Missed op.
Tom, I picture you dancing with Bill Gates on the same stage like they did in Pulp Fiction, like what's his name? What's her name?
Oh, John Travolta and
Uma Thurman. Yeah. That's what I picture.
Uma Thurman.
Yeah,
That's
nothing you can
Scott
do.
and I just said.
The dancing, I can tell you from a first person perspective, was nothing on that level.
The level of Bill Gates, you mean?
Oh,
Listen,
no, not
mine. Okay, I'm not going to trash Bill Gates dancing. Come on.
I will. So it was
Yours
nothing
not
like
that great either,
like
Roger.
Pulp Fiction. Nothing like Pulp Fiction.
How was your dancing, Roger?
I didn't. I sat.
Well, there you go. You weren't even brave enough to dance. At least Bill was.
Bill's brave enough to dance.
Finally, robzombie.com loaded. It only took 10 minutes since the last time we mentioned him. And apparently his new thing is a movie called 3 from Hell.
Yeah, 3 from Hell.
Wait,
I saw that.
Is
that
there
Windows
another
XP server he's running his
location?
website on.
Is there another location besides Hell that evil can erupt from?
Sure. My mother-in-law's house. It's only 20.
Sure, yeah. Evil can erupt from Earth. Why wouldn't? I mean,
But like when you say from hell, it gives you.
You could be evil and maybe headed to hell.
I mean, it seems obvious. Like, what else would erupt from hell? But you might be saying, like, well, it's evil, not from Earth. You know, it's not from purgatory.
This didn't say anything about being evil. Just 3 things are from hell, and that's.
I thought you said evil from hell.
No, 3 from hell. The number 3.
Sorry, my
mistake.
But
but when you say
that, the
that's
hashtag involved is free the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See. I don't.
But that's normally that just
that.
implies some sort of malevolency, right?
Maybe he'll finally get it.
Evil does, yeah.
Or no, from hell, right? If you said you had a birthday from hell, it's not like you
wouldn't think, oh, that sounds like a nice birthday.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think it's generally.
You wouldn't say kindness from hell.
Right?
Kindness from hell.
No one says neighbors from hell and say, yeah, we had a great barbecue together.
Is there
a delicious pork chop from hell?
Is there any kind of cute like
creature from hell?
Like maybe, or like a cartoon or a series where it's like the nice demons,
sweet puppies from hell.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
like a sweet little demon family.
There's no family, but if you watch Good Omens, the whole idea is that the demon's nicer than everyone thinks he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of that. Yeah.
Kind of like that.
There's a sweetness to him that you don't expect.
Sentimentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a demon with a heart of
Gold.
Gold.
No?
Maybe copper.
Well, it would be melted, right? Because he's
A
hot.
demon with a heart of gold.
Gold.
Ah.
Yeah. Neil Youngism.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Neil Youngism, not a neologism.
No. You can't do that.
Along with Ponyo. Well, not Ponyo. What was the thing he made?
Pono, yeah.
Pono.
Oh,
Ponyo
yeah.
is the anime. Right?
Ponyo's the Spanish version of it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I'm confused.
Yeah?
I'm stuck on Rob Zombie, guys.
Sure, it's you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm
He's
confused.
entranced you.
So Rob Zombie, founding member of heavy metal band White Zombie. I knew that.
Yeah.
He is the older brother of Spider One, the lead vocalist for American rock band Power Man 5000.
What?
Okay. All right. Didn't
Also
know
a
that.
band I know. Did not understand that they were brothers.
That's interesting.
I need to go to their Christmas party.
Yes, you do.
Yes, or holiday party. I'm not going to, I'm not
Don't
trying
fence
to
them in.
push any religion on,
Right.
on you, zombie brothers.
Right.
Could be a
Uh,
birthday party.
I want to
Doesn't
go to
matter.
Thanksgiving is what I want to go.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. There you go.
Just
Anything.
yeah, family reunion. I don't care. Just please invite me just once. I'll be very respectful. I just want to know more.
Surprised his brother's last name isn't Zombie. You know, why didn't you adopt that?
Well, they might have different fathers.
It might be Spider One zombie, but he's just kind of going by Spider One.
So wait, is there a Spider 2? Is that like the wife or son?
Good question.
Spider 2.
But there's so much. There's
Usually
so much.
when
to
you
get through.
number something, it indicates that you have others. Unless you're number one son, then that just indicates your rank. Of course,
Or-
if you're the only son, you'll always be the number one son.
Or your first officer on the Starship Enterprise, D. Right?
Rob
Really?
Zombie's real name is Robert Cummins.
I like zombie better.
Me
Do you? Yeah. It's like Vanilla Ice. He's like got the worst.
Yeah.
Rip
Van
Van,
Winkle.
Winkle or not Rip Van
Robert Van Winkle, I
Robert
think.
Because the movie being named Cummingsland.
Yeah, Zombieland. Zombieland.
Sounds different,
Zombieland, much
doesn't
better
it?
title. Yeah.
Get that in the beaded area.
Yeah.
No, thank you, sir.
No.
No.
You ever consider changing your name?
to zombie.
Your band is White Zombie. What if you were Rob Zombie? Because you're fronting it.
I was going to be Rob White. Huh. That's much better.
Huh. Rob Zombie. That has a ring to it.
Of course, that is
I was
obviously
going to
the
call
origin
myself
story.
Rob Reanimated Desiccated Corpse, but zombie
Ooh.
sounds so much better.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Zombie
That's not,
hands.
if you guys ever see the excellent, unappreciated Beavis and Butthead film, Beavis and Butthead Do America, that thing,
I've seen it. I don't remember much.
it's great. But there's a sequence where they're both on mushrooms or something, and Rob Zombie directs this whole segment, and it's the best thing he has ever done. It's amazing. It's so good.
Oh, there's so much depth to this.
There's
So
got to
much
be.
depth to him.
If
Yeah.
anyone out there knows either Spider One or Rob Zombie or both, please DM me. My DMs are open.
It
I
will
want
make
to be
her
invited
day.
To
to
her
the
DM.
to the Sunday
It will
barbecue.
upgrade her day from good to great.
Yeah, already having a great time, but this would really elevate me too. My heart would be so full I would die,
Ah.
and then straight to hell.
Or purgatory. I don't know. Depends. Purgatory really doesn't sound bad. It just sounds boring.
It doesn't sound very good.
Purgatory.
I'm
It
going to
sounds
start
it
the
sounds pretty
Purgatory Cafe where the food's okay.
It just sounds like it's literally just a waiting room, isn't it? Like
How's
the
your
whole thing.
hamburger? All right.
Okay.
It's not
What's
terrible.
the special of the day? Nothing. Nothing special here.
Nothing special here. I can see that.
But
How's
you
your
know,
coffee? Warm?
but it's even keeled. No surprises. There's no highs and lows. Everything is very neutral.
It's always 70
Sometimes
degrees.
you want that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't need it to be fanfare.
Suppose
You
so.
know? Peaks and valleys.
And you can never leave.
Welcome to the Peaks and Valleys Purgatory.
Vile song.
Yeah,
Gnibbled says Limbo is worse, but Limbo is just full of babies. That's
Oh yeah, Limbo. Yeah, you don't want to go to Limbo.
yeah. You have to
babies.
basically dance under a stick all day.
Yeah, you want to go on. stick.
Dance under a stick while not stepping on the babies.
Wait, why are there babies?
Limbo is where a baby goes before it's baptized. Because it still has original sin, so it can't go to heaven.
Yeah.
In limbo. I know
Yeah,
what
so-
that means. I didn't know the
But it
origin.
doesn't have any sins of its own to expiate, so it can't go to purgatory.
Right.
Obviously, be unfair to send it to hell. So you send a
Oh,
baby to limbo.
And they're
Wow.
short enough to do the dancing
not
under the
know that.
stick. So
I was like, babies?
Yeah.
Why are there babies under the limbo stick?
When I learned that, I don't remember if I learned that at catechism or if my parents taught it to me, but whoever taught it to me, I remember thinking like, wow, limbo sounds awful. It's just full of babies. Like,
Yeah.
I guess angels are there taking care of them. What a horrible,
Yeah. Are they kind of shoulder to shoulder?
what a horrible assignment by the angels to be like, oh, I have to do limbo.
it just looks like a jamboree. It's just one giant jamboree.
That just made limbo so much better. Thank you, Roger.
Well, but okay, so the baby, I mean, your baby doesn't get baptized. I mean, that doesn't happen right after birth in the hospital room.
Right,
So the
exactly.
baby is with you, so it's like they're not really in limbo, they're in my arm.
Basically, it's throwing
Their
shade
soul is in
on
limbo?
people's homes.
I guess. I mean, I don't. The old Catholic Church would believe that if you aren't in the Catholic Church, then you're going to purgatory no matter what. But like some religions, they don't baptize. Some Christian religions don't baptize you until you're like
30.
older. Yeah, well, not usually 30. Come on, but definitely not baby anymore. So,
Yeah,
I guess limbo could have some older Baptists.
that's like whenever Mormons will do it at 8. It all just
Have some
depends.
7-year-old Mormons. Yeah,
Yeah,
the limbo
they-
might not be as bad as I thought.
yeah. Limbo's just a bunch of babies doing limbo with sticks. That's
Yeah.
what we've learned.
Although I do like the idea of it being just a big jamboree.
It's probably just a big jamboree. I mean, really, what are they gonna do? Like, they don't have enough life experience to know that they're in a boring
Yeah.
spot.
Right.
And you got the ball pit and stuff, so hey, knock yourself out.
That is definitely a form of limbo.
All right. Well, now that we solved limbo, we're going to let you all go. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Hope we drove you home today.
In style.
Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day.
Good day.
Good day, Internet.